Hey everybody. Happy Tuesday. Lots of interesting stories to discuss today, but first we're going to talk about the astrology of the day and what's going on astrologically. It's a wonderful day in the stars today. We have the moon in the sign of Cancer, like Tom Cruise. Who doesn't like Tom Cruise, that zany guy? So it's Mars's day right now, today on Tuesday. So it's a good get shit done day. It's a day in which you can really start stuff, especially anything pertaining to the sign of Cancer, because that is where the moon is. The moon in Cancer is all about initiating emotional stuff. So it's all about starting a new emotional journey with the moon in Cancer today. So keep that in mind. We also have, we're in a waning moon's phase as well, which essentially the energy from the full moon to the new moon, the energy is decreasing. So it's all about letting go of things during this period. So Cancer words and phrases include emotion, sensitivity, home, family, tenacity, control, nurturing, maternal, comforting, protective, caring, security, and mood. Yeah. So mood and moon are similar, right? So keep that in mind. Good morning, Kristen. I'm glad you did make it. Yeah, there's not many people here today. I was a little surprised, but that's okay. You and I can have a party, Chris. So yeah, mood and moon are aligned, right? And the moon is what Cancer rules. Cancer rules the moon. So the power of the ocean is really, really important today. And just like the moon controls or influences the ocean, so does the mood we are in. It determines what we are experiencing, the tides that flow around us. So keep that in mind for today. Good morning, Stephanie. Good morning, right as rain. Yeah. So did I actually. I didn't know if I was going to be on time today. So yeah, the moon is in Cancer, but wait, there's more. Liz Taylor has had one too many, or we might be feeling like we have as well with Venus's square to Neptune today. So with this aspect, just keep this in mind that impressions may be distorted, leading to misjudgments. So take care with major decisions today. It's a good time to turn within through meditation or forms of self-therapy, self-care. Keep that in mind. You may also wish to escape today through music, movies, a creative project, as the desire to transcend reality may be strong. Oh, you're a Cancer. Okay, awesome. Well, you're going to have a really good day. When the moon's in your sign, there's always the potential for a good day, usually, except when the moon's in Capricorn. Capricorn doesn't like it when the moon is in their sign because the moon is detriment in Capricorn. So Capricorn doesn't always like seeing themselves reflected in other people. But for most people, we like it when the moon is in our sign. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. You might not be seeing things really clearly with Venus's square to Neptune. This aspect actually is reminiscent in the chart of Whitney Houston and her daughter Christina. Bobby Christina. Yeah, they actually had this aspect in their astrological charts, and they both died in a bathtub. This is the Beverly Hills Hotel bathtub. I don't know if it's the exact one that Whitney Houston passed in, but it's it's one of the bathtubs from the Beverly Hills Hotel. So yeah, they had this aspect. And when you think about it, Venus, right, is reality and love and beauty and enjoying your senses, and Neptune is otherworldly. So in a lot of respects, these two planets, they you would think they would go well together, but Neptune really fuzzies things and brings us sort of like underwater. So that might be why they had issues with drugs, because Venus is about indulgence and Neptune is about escape, right? So you can always go too far when these two things, these two planets square each other, which is pretty negative. So sad. Do you think such things are soul contracts? um no, I don't think so. I think typically what winds up happening is you have, free will. So I think that it's a controversial view, but I believe, good morning, Jamie. Good to see you here. Um, it's a controversial view, but I believe that all death is suicide, that we get to choose when we leave, not necessarily consciously, but unconsciously. So you can change the plan a little bit while you are living, because that's what we're here for, is to create our reality. Yeah, so just keep that in mind for today. It is an emotional day. It's just important to feel as good as possible on a day like today. There's some interesting news going on today, actually. Some really interesting news that I wanted to get your opinion on. What was this? Exit points. Um, Good afternoon, Melinda. So exit points. Ooh, that's interesting. I know that, like, when, if you have an out, like say you get hit by a car, I think like in that instance, you do have like an out that you could take if you wanted to. But we shouldn't do that, of course. Yeah, please mount the like button. Thank you, Grandma. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, you see with elderly couples when they lose their spouse. Yeah, well, it's like lovebirds, right? When two lovebirds are together, when one dies, the one other one usually dies soon after. They die of loneliness. It's very sad. So yeah. Anyway, today there's some interesting things going on, and I really wanted to get a better understanding of some of these topics from you, and also just hear your thoughts. So there's a BBC article that's out, and it's in light of a poll that was done, or a survey, by Carolyn Lowbridge. She wrote this BBC article, and the article essentially questions: is a lesbian transphobic if she doesn't want to have sex with a trans woman? Some lesbians say they are increasingly being pressured and coerced into accepting trans women as partners, then shunned and even threatened for speaking out. Several have spoken to the BBC, along with the trans women who are concerned about the issue too. So this is what is really going on. The article starts with this lesbian speaking about one of her experiences. Quote, "I've had someone saying that they would rather kill me than Hitler." Fighting words right there, says 24-year-old Jenny. They said they would strangle me with a belt if they were in a room with me and Hitler. That was so bizarrely violent just because I won't have sex with trans women. So Jenny is a lesbian woman. She says she's only attracted to women who are biologically female and have vaginas. She therefore only has sex and relationships with women who are biologically female. Jenny doesn't think this should be controversial, but not everyone agrees. She's been described as transphobic, a genital fetishist, a pervert, and a TERF. A TERF is a trans exclusionary radical feminist. So several people got in touch with the author of this article, saying that this is a huge problem for lesbians. Huge problem for lesbians who are being pressured to accept the idea that a penis can be a female sex organ. Person knew, which is a surprise to me, that this would be a hugely divisive subject, but I wanted to find out how widespread the issue was. So yeah, there's been a little research. So she did a survey, and she said in the survey that 80 of the women who did respond, 56% reported being pressured or coerced to accept a trans woman as a sexual partner. While acknowledging the sample may not be representative of the wider lesbian community, she believes it was important to capture their points of view and stories. So one person in her research thought that she would be called a transphobe, or that it would be wrong of her to turn down a trans woman who wanted to exchange nude pictures. Young women feel pressured to sleep with trans women to prove I am not a TERF. One woman reported being targeted in an online group. I was told that homosexuality doesn't exist, and I owed it to my trans sisters to unlearn my genital confusion so I can enjoy letting them penetrate me. So, the gist of what this person is saying, this one person is saying, is nobody should be pressured into dating or pressured into dating people they aren't attracted to. So this is the sort of the crux of the question. But if you find that when dating, you are writing off entire groups of people, like people of color, fat people, disabled people, or trans people, then it's worth considering how societal prejudices may have shaped your attractions. We all know that prejudice is still common in the LGBT plus community, and it's important that we can talk about that openly and honestly. So, yeah, right. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Right as Rain says, you just are attracted to what you like. Nothing wrong with that. If you don't like the D, that's okay too. Yeah, it's okay. I agree. Chris says how tolerant to not tolerate that everyone has preferences that differ. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Um, Ghosted? Why would you be ghosted? I'm not ghosting. Oh, would you be ghosted? Maybe you're talking about the article. I'm not ghosting anybody. Not today, not right now. So yeah, I'm just curious as to what you guys think. If you're watching this at a later date, I'd love to hear what you think. I guess the big question is, if somebody is if a woman is a lesbian, right, and she really likes lesbians, biologically female lesbians, why is she being told that she's a TERF or transphobic? So I think that's just a really interesting thing. Have things gotten out of hand? So is it now a matter of, in order to appease people, we have to sleep with people that we're not attracted to? It's gotten to that point. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm obviously open to learning. So if I'm missing something here, I'd love to hear what you have to say. That would be great. I'd really appreciate it. Additionally, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. We're going to talk about another news article that I think is pretty interesting. No should be no without threats. Ridiculous and sick. Name calling is the new control tactic. I'd have to agree. It's also good to keep your opinions to yourself sometimes. No need to broadcast what you like, but maybe that's my generation. Maybe we need more of your generation. I don't know. I think that I don't understand why this is even a topic in terms of, like, something personal, like sleeping with somebody. Yeah, it's interesting, but essentially maybe the motivation is to, I don't know, either, I mean, the motivation could very well be sex on some people's part. I'm only sleeping with my, I think that's the best way you can go, actually. The best way you can go. Life was much more satisfying when people's identity didn't involve the activities of the underwear end. What the heck happened to accomplishment? Yeah, I mean, I think there's so much more to a person than their sexuality, and maybe that's where we should be focusing our energies. But it's interesting. Anywho, let's talk about cinema. Cinema was confronted in the airport the second time this month. So essentially, A new video emerged Monday that showed Senator Kristen Sinema, Democrat from Arizona, being confronted by a woman who identified herself as a constituent who walked closely next to the senator, prompting Sinema to say, "Don't touch me," according to reports. Sinema has also been confronted in recent weeks by protesters displeased with her position on President Biden's social services and climate change package. Earlier this month, the senator was followed into a bathroom by 4 protesters who recorded the incident. I guess one of my questions really quickly, if anybody knows, like, did this happen previously? Like, was this always the case that politicians for their views would be accosted in public, or is this a new thing? I never heard of this before. I didn't think that happened, but maybe I'm wrong. Admittedly, I'm not a huge news buff, but I think that's a little bit crazy. So yeah, this tweet by People's Watch says, once again, Kristen Sinema ignores concerned advocate fighting for health care for her family in Arizona. I mean, come on now. She's going to the airport. Like, can you imagine going to the airport and being accosted by this? And I call her a psycho. I do. I call anybody who accosts somebody at the airport about politics a psycho. It's just no boundaries. They have, way too much investment in what's going on to actually do that. I think so too. This behavior shouldn't be tolerated or encouraged. Following a stranger in a bathroom is creepy and wrong. Yeah, really. So yeah, I think it's completely insane. So yeah. Anyway, at one point, Sinema told the woman, "Don't touch me." The woman responded, "I did not touch you." The senator otherwise ignored the woman, who accused her of not meeting her constituents to hear their concerns about climate change. "Every single year in Arizona, it's getting hotter and hotter," the woman said. "We're breaking records." I mean, it's Arizona! People are suffering. Your constituents are suffering. What are you going to do about climate change, she asks. Oh my goodness. Sinema's office also didn't respond immediately to an after-hours email from Fox News. Joe Manchin and Sinema have almost on their own halted Biden's massive proposal for advancing. With Republican opposition and an evenly split 50-50 Senate, Biden has no votes to spare, and the 2 Democratic senators have insisted on reducing the size of the enormous package and pressed for other changes. There's a time and place to have that conversation, but is the airport really the place? I mean, when I'm at the airport, the last thing I'm going to do is start trouble with somebody. I want to get my plane. I don't know. Crazy. But Sinema rejected also an earlier plan to reverse the Republican-led 2017 tax cuts and raised rates on corporations earning more than $5 million a year and wealthy Americans earning more than $400,000 or $450,000 for couples. Democrats initially planned that Biden's package would contain $3.5 trillion worth of spending and tax initiatives over 10 years, but demands by moderates led by Manchin and Sinema to contain costs mean its final price tag could well be less than $2 trillion. Interesting. Well, I wanted to talk about this lady, and I was over the moon. I was like, well, surely I'm not going to be able to find her time of birth. And it is an AA rating, meaning it's a very highly accurate time of birth for Kristen, which I thought was so interesting. Yeah, so when we look at her chart, we notice that she has a Libra rising, making Venus the ruler of her chart, and Venus is in the 10th house, along with 4 other big planets are in the house of status, position, leadership, and honor. Saturn, Venus, the Sun, which is a big deal, and also Mercury. And Mercury is really, really close to that midheaven. So, she is really in this world to communicate on the world stage in a public way. And, she does have Uranus in her chart as the first planet in her chart. So Uranus is the first energy that she's been confronted with when she entered the world. Uranus is the planet of surprise. It's planet of unpredictability. It rules mental trauma. It is shocking and revolutionary. So it actually makes a lot of sense that she is so contrary to her party's views. She also has the North Node in Scorpio, fairly close to that Uranus, but not it's a little too wide for my money. But her North Node is her destiny, right? And her destiny is in Scorpio in the first house, and that is about being assertive, extremely assertive, and really allowing yourself to pick a side. Scorpio is very extremist, right? So in a lot of respects, her destiny may be about really asserting herself with her extremes notions and ideas. She does have Chiron in the 7th, which does make it interesting. Chiron is about woundedness, right? And the 7th house, in addition to one-on-one partnerships, has to do with your audience. If her audience is Democrat, it makes sense that she would have Chiron here. Chiron is about woundedness. So there's a certain woundedness she came into this world with, pertaining to either her partnerships or her one-on-one relationships, but also her audience, which makes a lot of sense. She is a fighter. And also she has this Aquarius moon, which squares Uranus, actually. So that's interesting. So with the Aquarius moon, she's going to be also more contrarian. She's going to be instinctive when it comes to being sort of rebellious. And that's even further emphasized with that moon squaring Uranus here in the first house. So it's a little bit tough for her with that square. She's going to have contrarian views. It's really an interesting chart. But what's really interesting is what's going on in her chart right now, actually. So when we look at this, we do notice that the sun is hitting Uranus. Typically, this is a nice transit, usually like these pleasant surprises. But what the sun is doing, it's making really, really clear her differences. Aquarius or Uranus is definitely about rebellion and going against the grain and doing things one's own way, marching to the beat of your own drum. And the sun is really shining that on her Uranus as well. Soon, Mars is actually going to be hitting that Uranus in about 5 or 6 days. So that's going to be interesting. There's probably going to be more stuff happening over the next week with her when Mars hits that Uranus, because Mars is going to instigate her rebellious streak. You also have right now this Saturn. Saturn right now is on her moon, which is not easy. Saturn on the moon is like the pacifier being ripped right out of your mouth. You're just feeling like, something usually cut off. So hopefully she hasn't experienced any kind of loss. Typically when Saturn hits the moon, you usually lose somebody in your life, usually a maternal figure or a woman, or you can just feel as if nobody loves you. Saturn cuts, and the moon is the most sensitive place in your chart. So it's interesting. And that Saturn also is making a square to her Uranus as well, her Uranus in Scorpio. So it's interesting. A lot of stuff that's going on around her right now. It's really interesting what is up. You also have Jupiter transiting Jupiter at 22 Aquarius, making a square to her natal Jupiter. So her expansion right now, it's really difficult for her to expand. And there's challenges. I mean, she'll be able to, because squares make shit happen, but she's probably going to have to get more polarizing. And my guess is, with Uranus being her first planet in her chart, she probably will double down. It's interesting. I mean, especially because the sun is in Scorpio right now, and we're feeling usually really extreme with the sun in Scorpio. So yeah, will she be reelected? Well, when's the term? Do you know when the term when that election will take place? I'm glad you're catching it too, Linda. I'm glad she is obviously trying to not cave if her state doesn't agree. Yeah, I think that this is a Uranian person, so she's probably not going to give in. But I do feel a little bit bad when we look at her chart because she is a Cancer. She's super sensitive. Um, and Cancers are about home and family, right? So, at the airport, it's really tough for a Cancer because they're leaving, what they know. And then you have this woman screaming at her. It's on online. It's really obnoxious. So, anyway, but she has an Aquarius moon, so she probably a little bit more detached than the typical Cancer. And also with the Libra rising, that does make her more detached than the typical Cancer. Anyway, while you're at it, folks, please like and subscribe to this video. Like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm still really sleepy, if you couldn't tell. So yeah, things are things that say she. What's this? There are things that say she may be primaried. Well, let me just see here what's going on right now in terms of her chart. Will she get elected? Well, let's find out when this might be happening. If you know when it might be happening, we'll look into this later. Because these are today's transits. I would say that if today she was to be, if there was a vote today, she would not get it. But that can change. That can change. Yeah, so let's look at what's happening tomorrow, because that's going to be helpful to find out what the dealio is for tomorrow, just so you know what is up. Yeah, be careful of this square. Definitely rub-a-dub-dub, but make sure if you rub-a-dub-dub that you're very careful in the tub. So tomorrow on Wednesday, this is actually Margot Robbie. She's actually a Cancer. That's why I put her here. And it's from I, Tonya. If you haven't seen that movie, you've got to see that movie. I think Allison Janney, isn't it? It's brilliant. I also grew up during that whole saga. I was in high school, the Nancy Kerrigan, Tonya Harding saga. So seeing this movie was a special treat for me. I would totally see it if you haven't. And Margot Robbie is a Cancer, and she's just lovely. So Wednesday is Mercury's day. This is for tomorrow, your forecast for tomorrow. So pad your schedule with a little bit of extra wiggle room. Mercury is still a little bit slower than it would like to be. It's a little bit slower until November 1st, November 2nd, we'll be out of its shadow. So just keep that in mind. Give yourself some extra wiggle room. Moon will be in Cancer tomorrow as well. Cancer moon ideals include feeling good, nesting, resting, domestic tasks, home, family, TLC, emotional wellness, security, and you want to also feel, there should be a comma there, you should feeling good is really key under the Cancerian moon. Oh no, it's right. Sorry. Feel yummy. You want to feel like yummy on the inside. You want to feel just really, really yummy and good. So get into your like nice, safe place today and tomorrow with the moon in Cancer. It's going to get the tide to go in your favor because remember, mood and moon, you want things to go your way. So get into as good of a mood as possible. And that should be very, very helpful for you. So thank you all for being with me today. I have to jam, but be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And also I wanted to mention that it's the season of giving coming up, and you could get a gift certificate to see me, a psychic reading, and we can actually even personalize these gift certificates with color or your notes that you want to give to your recipient. We can masculinize them, make them blue or something like that if you're a male recipient. And we can also, I can have a lot of fun and give you like a holiday one or a Christmas one. It depends on what you want. Just check out my website, psychicsun.com. Not only if you want a reading, but if you want to gift somebody a reading for the holiday, that could be a really cool gift. The gift of insight, as they say. So yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Yes, you certainly will. I believe so. I'm going to be showing up, and I'm sure Carlin will too. So yeah, watch tonight. Nothing remotely controversial. Last thing I want to say is that I'm having a Halloween party. It's true. A virtual one. It's probably going to be on my locals. And I think that it would be fun. So I want to know if you guys are going to come to my party. Uh, don't make it be a Mary Tyler Moore party. And that's a reference for somebody said that I'm so young. You'll get that reference. Somebody said, "Oh, you're so young." Oh, you're so young. Yeah. Don't make it a Mary Tyler Moore party for me now. Now you know what that means. Like I'm inviting a whole bunch of people and nobody shows up. But yeah, it's gonna be on my locals and it's gonna be fun. What is my locals? God, what is my local? I don't know. I gotta start with my locals. Essentially, yeah, I should really maybe I can put my locals thing in there now while I have you here, since I'm going to probably forget if I don't. Let me just see if I can get this view profile. Okay, so I'm gonna. Oh, here we go. Okay, see, I'm good at this. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in here. This is my locals. So you can check me out on local. So it's going to be on Halloween. It's going to be at 9 p.m. Your time, or most people's time, EDT. And it should be fun. There's going to be trivia. There's going to be, I wrote things down. I'll have to go back to my list, but it should be fun. There'll be trivia. There's also I was thinking of like ghost stories or like scary stories. I was thinking of, well, this is my issue. Before I leave, this is my issue. I wanted to do like spooky stories, and I'm a true crime fanatic. So I was like, okay, we could do like stories about like, this murder and that murder, and that could be like really, really cool. But I was also thinking of doing like readings, but I'm like, oh geez, do you really want to open yourself up to do readings while we're also talking about true crime? I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know if you guys have any ideas for my Halloween party, and that's going to be on Sunday, this coming Sunday, October 31st, of course, at 6 p.m. my time PT, 9 p.m. ET. And yeah, if you guys have any ideas for what you want at this party, let me know, because I'm still coming up with ideas for it. So yeah, my locals is here. It's in the comments. So yeah, we'll do that, and I'm going to figure out how to work it all. I hope you guys have a really great day. And also, if you are watching this afterwards and if you have any comments or you want to enlighten me as to the lesbian thing, like shouldn't people be able to sleep with whomever they want? And also the what is her name? The Kristen girl. Yeah, what you think of her? I'd love to hear that as well. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and I shall see you soon. Bye-bye.